enlighten with you all about what is the direction we are taking today when we talk about development. I really have no idea in which direction we are going. We can talk about several things, but what is the direction, what is our vision of development? This is one major question that I have. Now, many people have talked about the different issues, education and solar power, water, all these issues are there. I just want to raise 2 or 3 issues that are really, really important in my view. And one is education. Yes, education. The previous speaker has spoken about universities, how much they should be given, how we need to develop our universities in every district or in every. While that is true, my own anxiety is about what is happening to government schools. Why are we not talking about government schools? Why are we not investing in education? What is our budget for education going to be? This is a major question. Is our budget going to be like what it used to be, the pittance, compared to all the other things? We need to ask the government to invest more in education, and every government school must be revived, it must be established on par. We read in the papers every day how these things have to be done, and how once in a while we read an example about of a school which is doing very well, a government school which has come up so well. But these are all, on and off we hear about exams. It's not as a matter of policy. I think we need a policy which will make every single government school in rural areas, everywhere, wherever they are, come up to a certain standard and give them all the facilities. We all know none of these government schools, some of them don't even have buildings, most of them don't have toilets. Now when I say this, it's even more important when you look at what is happening to the girl child, why girls are dropping out of schools. Somehow, no one talks about girls, women, children. These are very, very important issues in my view. Unless we think about these and really make a policy that will, first of all, invest much more, have a budget that is worthwhile talking about, and then improve, invest in all government schools. Similarly, when I think of education and what is happening at the national level, the whole talk about saffronization of education, it's even more frightening. This saffronization of education is something Telangana should completely oppose, not just avoid, but oppose, and it must be a secular education, and that responsibility, I think, is on all of us, particularly TJAC, particularly with TDF. Everyone must think about these things very, very seriously, because without our knowing, it will come, without our knowing, these things are happening. So we need to think about that. Let us not sacrifice education in Telangana. I don't know how we need to do, but we need to think about it. Now, my other point is health. When we talk of health, we talk about super speciality. What is this super speciality? Why are we only talking about super specialities? We need to think in terms of PHCs. The primary healthcare centers are not functioning in most of the rural areas. Which are the ones which should be available to many people? Today, a woman can't go to a PHC and ask for even the simplest medicines after delivery or before delivery and things. So, I think that we need to really start from the bottom. Look at primary schools, look at the school system, both ideologically and materially. Materially, what is it that you can give? Ideologically, what kind of education are we giving? As far as health is concerned, it's more important in my view to think in terms of PHCs, primary healthcare centers, availability of all these facilities to women, particularly in the villages, because we know what is happening today in those areas. We don't have time to talk about all those reports, but that is very important. Now, the other question, major question I have is, do we need to subsidize corporates? Earlier we criticized the earlier government, and we know how corporates got all the subsidies. Why should we corporatize education? Why should we corporatize health? And why should the corporates get subsidies? It's calculated, all those subsidies that were given to corporate sector, it is said that if you put all that together, it can take care of all the 9 schemes under the right to vote. So if that is so, I think we need to make a shift, a paradigm shift, if you can say so, in development. Development is not high tech and high super specialities and those kind of things. So it's important for us to think of that and see how, if people have to participate, we need to take their knowledge into account and see what we can do. And in my view, it is extremely important to think of health and education, give sufficient budget, formulate policies which are more relevant to our systems, and by every effort should be put into avoid this kind of saccharization of education if we have to protect our secular ethos, secular Telangana, particularly Telangana, we talk about the culture and so many things. Culture is not just, now culture itself is a big issue to debate. Culture is not just celebrating festivals and things. Culture is a way of life. Like that way of life has to be protected, it has to be secure. We need to think anew about our education, about so many things, and really it should make life more comfortable, more easy, more peaceful, and not promote violence. I think the present system really promotes violence. It defends violence in one sense. And money, the importance of money, everything is calculated in terms of money. Everything is equated in terms of money. How do we understand the system that is promoting more violence than anything else? Thank you. And I think these are very important issues for me, particularly as a woman. I don't know, how many of you agree with me. And I think these are very much more important to women. If you look at what is happening in the city of Hyderabad and everywhere, what is happening to women? Why is no one talking about what's happening to women? Every day we hear about 3 or 4 suicides of farmers. Every day we read about some suicide by women, and more than anything else by racists. Let us not, be dismissive about these things, but let's give serious thought to what we can do about these things. And as far as EDF is concerned, EDF should be, can invest, and I agree with one speaker that you cannot depend on contributions from EDF or NGOs to do all this work. It's ultimately the responsibility of the government. First and foremost, it is the responsibility of the government to do these things. The others, the NGOs and media, can contribute in their own way to what the government is doing. But I think, to say that government doesn't have resources to do these things, to invest in education and in health, I find it a big joke. Sorry, it's a big joke. I don't believe that government doesn't have resources. It's only a question of prioritizing, and in those priorities, these things should come first. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam. On education and health, I have seen myself in Secunderabad school and to distribute some books. They don't have toilets for girls. Similarly, in my village, the small village in Vikarabad, we have some of the even ordinary common man also became crazy. They want their children to speak to them in English, daddy, mommy, or something like that. Nobody is there actually in my village. School is empty. Teacher was transferred to somewhere because all of them they are going nearby town and getting educated in convent schools. That has to go. That the government has to take care of that one. Now I request Sri Nadakamala Vivek Telangana History Society to speak on to his suggestions, advice to NRIs.
Good evening, everybody. I have only few thoughts which I would like to share with you. On an earlier occasion, as part of my contribution to the Telangana Association Journal, we brought out one journal called Cindy. We called for some article. So at that time I had an occasion to write about the NRI's role in Telangana, but the context was slightly different because while in Telangana was still on the threshold of happened in coming to exist. So now I think we are in a different context. I'm glad this meeting has been organized. I would only like to see that there is some kind of a policy statement as far as how agencies like, say, NRIs or PDFs and things like that can actually interact with the government. I'm still not sure whether, I wish Mr. Goel was here. I'm still not sure how Telangana government is going to involve people or NGOs into the overall plan of Telangana. It is still not clear. What kind of model of development? Is it going to be a participatory or is it something going to be government giving and people taking? Is it that kind of a model are we talking? And looks like, government is trying to assume some kind of a overarching position and, the kind of statements that are made from the top and elsewhere gives me an impression that government is here to provide you everything, you just wait and watch or you relax, things will happen. If that is the impression I got and if that is the impression everyone sitting here has got, I think we need to introspect on that issue. I would only like to see that whether it is people's participatory model or is it going to be a given and taker model. If that is going to be the model of development in Telangana, then I think there is a challenge before the Telangana government is going to be very, very huge. Because people will lose their initiative to participate and they would, for every damn thing they would expect the government to come to their help. And unfortunately this has been the model, even the government of India for most decades we have followed this kind of a model. I would particularly like to emphasize, perhaps at the cost of repetition, and I do agree with the earlier speakers that the two primary sectors which need urgent focus is education and health. What is going to be the role of NRIs in this? Now, education for the common man, KG to PG is fine, but what kind of a institutional arrangement the government is going to put in place? Are you going to contribute to some kind of a government kitty where the money will come, get lodged and the government will have the freedom to spend it the way it likes? Maybe government will allow you to adopt schools and you can develop on your own. Well, if the second model is going to be the most feasible model, then we are really not sure how long we are going to support the school. So I think some institutional mechanism has to be in place so that the funding can come, it can come and sit at one place, and then from there some kind of a statutory authority can be put in place. Then through that statutory authority, the funds generated by people like you can be usefully spent. And same thing holds good for health as well. I think we have to get our priorities right. I agree with the earlier speakers that we have to begin with the basics, that primary health center, like Ramaji has said. I think that's going to be the key issue. And here once again, in fact, as part of the movement, we have raised quite a few issues of this nature. What kind of health policy or education policy the new Telangana state is going to have? Are we going to continue Sri Chaitanyas? Are we going to continue Narayanas? Are we going to continue other corporate hospitals that are there today? And they still seem to be there, and some of them are doing really pretty good business. And I have no doubt that they will continue to do pretty good business in the days to come. And I am really pained to see that even after the new state has come, there is no even whitewash for the the most neglected Usmania hospital. This is where as a Telangana person, as someone who has grown up with this movement, I wanted to really see some change. But nothing of that sort is really still not clear. We don't know. Maybe the advisors sitting here might take some pains to explain what kind of model are we going to put up. Are we going to spend more on health and education, or are we going to still keep them in the private sector so that the people like you can still continue, educational institutions and corporate hospitals in private sector and drive people to those hospitals to get treatment. I am still not sure whether the government is going to regulate the currently existing corporate hospitals. It is still not clear. In fact, there is a demand that some kind of a regulatory law should be brought in, but that doesn't. There are no indications. I would really like to see some kind of a organization within the government, Goyal sir, some kind of a nucleus kind of an organization or some kind of a one-point contact in the government, where the initiative of the NRIs can be, synergized, and the money that comes in can be usefully spent on critical areas like health and education. And our endeavor in this direction should be to discourage corporatization and profit making, particularly in these two critical areas. I'm also equally aware of the fact that we have a urgent need for NRI's support in developing our power scenario. I'm really looking forward to some kind of an institutional arrangement with the government level, where your initiative, your energies and your enthusiasm and your resources can really impact the lives of the common man in Telangana state. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. About your Telangana development models, Goyalji will answer at the end. And Telangana government is still 3 months old. It may take some more time. Already we have requested Telangana NRI cell, Telangana. Already Kerala government is having NRI ministry also. Similar, we are asking Telangana government for NRI cell and also to look after NGOs direct point. Now I request Bhavani NRI from Australia to speak for 2 minutes only, because we don't have much time.
You give her 5 minutes, take out. You give her 5 minutes, take away 3 from mine.
Next time we to ask Raghu Electrical to speak after Bhavani.
అందరికీ నమస్కారం ప్రధానమంత్రి. సార్ 2 నిమిషాలు చాలా థాట్స్ వచ్చినాయి.
Only 5.
కానీ 10 నిమిషాలు